Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. This is Dr. Sonia from International Islamic University. And I welcome you all to the book launch ceremony of Aisha Hussain's What More Could She Possibly Want? And before I delve into what the book is about, I would like to take an opportunity to introduce Ms. Aisha Hussain. Aisha Hussain has had a long career as an educationist. She holds a master's degree in English literature and an MPhil in educational leadership and school improvement from the University of Cambridge. A Chevening and Cambridge Trust Scholar, Aisha enjoys exploring new cuisines, music, and traveling the world. She lives in Lahore with her husband, 3 children, and their Labrador. You're welcome, Aisha.
Thank you so much, Sonia, for that introduction, and thank you everyone for being here.
And I won't talk much about the book because you want to lead the discussion, but what struck me was, and what actually made me relate to the book was that she has dedicated, it's a very heartfelt dedication where she says that to all women and men who have battled with dark days and persevered. I mean, you think about the main character, Noor, you were taken into an emotional journey where you start believing that emotional violence should be discussed more, and it should be written and shown more so that people can understand that how psychologically traumatizing and disturbing it is. So the book, divided in 5 sections with very digestible chapters and very easy read. It's very engaging, and you go through that what goes inside the main character as a woman when she has her inward desires and then outward obligations that she has to do. So I'll open the discussion with the first question that I would like to ask Aisha is that since you will tell us more about the book, just tell us what inspired you to write the book.
I mean, I've been wanting to write since I was 8 or 9, I think. But initially, I mean, when I wanted to write just so that I could become famous like like Hans Christian Andersen. That was my motivation as a 9-year-old, imagining myself sitting under a streetlight, writing, churning stories out and, publishing and getting people to read. So that was something I, thought of as a little girl. And then when I was in my 20s, I finally, I wanted to write about issues that I felt were close to my heart. And social injustice, this, that, the other. So I wanted to write about, stories, create stories around such issues and hopefully change the world. But that didn't happen because life happened, and, I had children and I was working, and so I never really got the time to think. And I'm glad I didn't, because I think so when I finally started writing, I was well into my 40s, and having had all that experience behind me, I think I was able to write much more maturely and than I could have as a 20-year-old. So what inspired me was women's stories. So I've worked in an all-women environment for most of my life. And, women used to share their stories and their struggles, and time after time, I just thought there was a recurring pattern in all the things all the stories I heard. Loss of identity, lack of agency, etc., etc. So I thought, let me write about this. It's very close to my heart.
If I ask you about your writing process as an author, could you just walk us through your writing process? What goes inside your mind when you're writing? Do you detach yourself from the world? Or is it okay for you when you're sitting with the people or traveling and you note down whatever comes to your thoughts? What's your writing process like?
There wasn't really a process as such, but there was a process in the sense that I just started writing. I wrote the introduction of this novel in 2017, and I think I just wrote a page, and then I left it. And then it was in 2020 when I started writing, 2019, when I started writing again. And then when I wrote my publisher, my publisher was a great inspiration in the sense that he would write to me every second day, how much have you written? So shuru mein thoda sa wo tha that I would write maybe once in 3 days or once in 4 days. Eventually I started writing every single day, and I would sit in the morning at 9 and finish, especially on the weekends because I was working, and then I would stop writing at say 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and when I was working I'd come back from work and start writing again. So I was writing continuously. And so once that was done, I handed the script to my publisher, who returned it having cut, I think, about 30,000 words. And he said, no, go back to the drawing board. So that was really like, I thought, oh my God, ये तो मैं क्या करूँ? उसके बाद फिर then I had to sit, and I had many moments of I didn't know what to write, and I would, literally draw like a line with characters and what was happening and sort of trace the linear development of
So what
those
exactly
characters.
were those challenges that you had to face as a writer?
I mean, character development a little bit, and also just struggling with writer's block sometimes. And then my publisher used to tell me, "Aap aise kare, just stop writing and start reading. Just read, forget this, forget it, don't think about it, and come back to it later." But I could never stop thinking about my novel because I was living, breathing those characters.
So do those characters interfere with your real life? Or do you get into the skin of those characters when you're developing them, or
Yes.
you just observe as an outsider?
No, I get into the skin. So, I imagine it. That's how I write. I mean, I imagine a scene and then I start writing.
So is it not emotionally very traumatizing when you become, because
Yes.
the character that you have depicted, when the hope for happiness diminishes, she falls into toxic relationship and depression. So when you were making up that character, so was it not agonizing and torture for you
Yes,
also?
it was, most certainly, absolutely. It was also very cathartic. There were times when I was writing certain chapters and I would just write, cry and write. So it was tough.
बहुत ज़्यादा आंसू और
बहुत
सीना
ज़्यादा.
उसमें सब
Blood,
शामिल
sweat
है.
and tears have gone into
All
this
right.
novel.
Okay, talking about the main character, the Noor, is it inspired by somebody close to you, or is it a real character, or do you think that all women can relate to that character?
I think all women can relate to Noor, and that's the feedback I've got from so many of my readers, that so many women have said we see ourselves in it. In Noor, we see some part of us in Noor. And so Noor is inspired by all women, and Noor is me. I think Noor is all of us, really.
So when you talk about the various stages that Noor covers, and she's a young girl who gets married, and then she oscillates between her marriage lives and obligations. As a Pakistani woman yourself, and we Pakistani women are sitting here, young girls are also here. So do you think it is this topic, because this is important, because when somebody gives words to these thoughts, and this has to come in some medium, whether it's the electronic media or it's the print media, but we are glad that you wrote that. How important it is for women to understand that we ourselves are the greatest perpetrators of the emotional violence that we experience.
That we were responsible for what we go through? Yeah, absolutely. So your question is?
Do you think that women themselves are the greatest perpetrators of the emotional violence they experience? Why don't they realize that they have a potential and they have to come out of such?
Yes. I think women अपने ऊपर खुद बहुत जुल्म करती हैं, but I don't entirely agree with the thing that women bring this upon themselves. I don't think so. I think there are a lot of circumstances, and if you see Noor's journey, she was a 19-year-old girl when she got married, when she got engaged, what do you know at 19? How can you sort of make rational decisions? And see what happens in most of our, and in South Asian literature, by and large, the women writers, what I've seen, this is a recurrent theme: the lack of agency, suppression of desires, be it any kind of desire, even sexual desires. You're supposed to be somebody's. You fulfill the role of a wife, fulfill the role of a daughter-in-law, fulfill the role of a mother, but where are you? So women generally don't know who they are till sometimes it's too late. And that is what happened with Noor. She's a one-dimensional, very annoying character. You feel that there's no, isko kya masla ho raha hai? But the problem is that she's unable to figure out what she really wants, because she has never been given that space, nor the freedom. So when you're not given a space or the freedom, then you obviously lack the confidence to take certain decisions, or to voice your opinion, or to not be afraid. She's always afraid of everything.
So what do you think when you write about, because this is the topic that we keep writing upon, we keep discussing this, there are all media is dominated by the discussions about how women face that suppression and how women need to get out of those shackles of suppression and repression. What do you think, if somebody would comment on your novel, is it a feminist novel or is it a humanist novel?
Humanist, I think.
Humanist,
Aapni
right?
dedication dekh le, it's for men and women and men. Women
Yes.
first, men second.
Yeah. And how do you see the character of Noor's husband?
Noor's husband is also a victim of his circumstances in the sense that he is also not allowed the freedom to choose, right? So he also marries Noor just because
Because the
he's
family
told
demands
by the
that.
family that this is a girl, she's young and you can mold a young girl and marry her and life will be good because she'll become exactly what you want her to become. So look at how unhealthy that is. So he also, and being a compliant son, does exactly what the parents are saying and doesn't realize that in this entire process he has, in trying to make the parents happy, he has obviously destroyed his relationship, has not worked on it. So,
and when you portray a character of Noor, we see that how internally disturbed she is, and the emotional violence she is experiencing and the trauma she is experiencing of not actually articulating her desires. You haven't mentioned that when she aspires to become something, what projects she takes, what initiatives or other things that she would be interested in taking, and instead she's trapped into that toxicity. So did you have that in mind, that you would actually show that the women can go out? And I'm taking this discussion to how important it is for women to be financially independent, to take decisions for themselves.
absolutely. So you see, that's what she says in one of the chapters, that had my father been alive or had he been a rich man, would I have been A, treated differently, and B, would I have been able to step out of a marriage that is clearly making me extremely unhappy? So yes, you have to be financially independent, and I say that to all women, in my daughters included. I am myself, I've worked all my life, and I think it is extremely important to be your own person, to earn your own money, and to not be dependent on anyone, be it a father or a husband, you shouldn't be dependent on anyone. But in our country, unfortunately, women, because they're looking after the home, they are not earning. When they're not earning, they're obviously dependent on a man.
Yes, of course. But in any relationship, dependent upon someone, so it means that you give right to that person to maybe dominate you, or he automatically becomes your oppressor in a softer or harder ways. That's an important point that I think we keep discussing in our classes when we teach, or in a community when we discuss, when we sit with the women around, or men of our community. When you were writing this book, do you think since this is your debut work, but do you plan to write more or bring a sequel to this one?
So many women have asked me, इसकी कोई sequel है, because they feel कि सबकी
क्योंकि हम चाहेंगे कि उसकी
conclusion
ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन हम एक मॉडर्न स्टाइल में, एक कंटेम्प्रेरी टाइम पीरियड में भी उसको हम देखना चाहेंगे. That will be more cathartic for us.
Yes, no, so yes, you're right. A lot of women have asked me, and also a lot of women have said कि इसका तो ये थोड़ी open-ended सी है. We are not happy with the way Noor ends. And I was like, are you? And I said, do you want Noor to be with a guy, with a man? Like, yes. So for most women readers, a perfect end would be if she finds someone. But I said she's her own hero. She doesn't really need anyone. She's fine the way she is. So that's the message I'm trying to give. I don't know if there'll be a sequel, but there will definitely be another novel. Hopefully many more.
Okay, tell me about the title. How did you come up with this title? What more could she possibly want?
It's come from a space where I've also been told many times, if I've ever voiced any unhappiness or anything to my mother or to my sister or to people in my life, and my mother especially, she said, "और क्या चाहिए तुम्हें? सब कुछ तो है." So it's coming from that space. And also, again, a lot of women become quiet because they feel terrible, because they feel they do have everything, and yet something is making them unhappy, and so they are afraid of even voicing that because they are afraid of criticism. अब हम कैसे कहें, because that will make us seem ungrateful, na shukra, away from religion, away from XYZ. So
Okay, before I ask more questions, I would invite audience to ask questions so that we can take the discussion forward. So we'll take up from there. So is there any question that you would like to ask the author? So it's like the question is for the audience also. Maybe they can take up from there. That do you think that we still, when we talk about women rights, because when I see this novel, of course it's a genre fiction, and then it's a psychological novel also. It's a feminist and humanist also. When we talk about women, I think as an academician or as a critic, when I read such novels, I think we need more of these, because these are kind of invitations to bring women into dialogue, because women, we always feel that they're not invited in the public spaces or in the community engagements, because we need to bring that political savvy and wisdom of all the women across the globe internationally. I think women needs to feel that they have to be invited in the public
you're right. Also,
yeah.
For me to write this novel, and I do remember a night before my launch, I called my publisher and I told him, "Kya please isko bechna chhod dein. Don't sell it." He was selling it online, and we had a launch the next day, and I said, just stop. I don't want to sell. I don't want this going out. I don't want anyone reading the novel. And I was just so afraid, because I was afraid of people's judgments about the story and linking it to my life, saying. I was putting myself out there, and it was petrifying. And it was only when my father actually, again, and my mother both, when they said to me, "Humne padhi hai, it's really, we love it." My mother said, "I've read it, it's lovely, I am so proud of you." And my father told me, "Bas mat kisi se daro mat, just say it. It's okay. Whether somebody likes it, doesn't like it, equates it with your life, this, that, the other, it doesn't matter. Just do it with honesty. If you've done it with honesty, then that's all you need to worry about. You don't need to worry about anything."
So as a new writer, you had that pressure that when you put your work outside in the world, people will believe that perhaps this is you, and a writer has to shun that thought. And तभी आप एक अच्छा काम ला सकते हैं जब आप उन barriers को खत्म करें, वरना आप उन ambitions के साथ रहेंगे तो you're not able to. That I think that's an advice for all the creative writers.
You see, I own the story in the sense that I was afraid of it. There's a lot of me in the novel. There's a lot of my friends, my cousins, a lot of women in the story, a lot of men too. So I'm owning it. I'm not afraid anymore. What I do want is for the readers to take something back, hopefully enjoy it for the story that it is. You may like it, you may not like it, you may like the character, you may hate her. It's fine as long as you read, you enjoy. It's a piece of, it's literature, and so, and my publisher also said, "Ki aap sirf 10 logon ka soch ke dar rahi hain," but it's actually, there'll be so many women who will get inspired by the story and, understand that sometimes when you're deeply emotionally troubled, you can make the wrong decisions, where Noor does, and she suffers terrible consequences. Her marriage ends, and, well, she's finally free, but there's a whole agonizing journey that.
And did you feel any pressure of defining that freedom, what freedom means for a woman? How would audience or readers take that freedom?
So when I was reading, मैं बिल्कुल भी नहीं सोची. It's just before it was going to be put out there, that's when I actually got really scared. But yes, when I was writing about women's desires in terms of wanting to do things for themselves, pampering themselves. I'm also talking about desires, sexual desires, women's, that she wants to be held a certain way, she wants to be loved a certain way, etc. And she wants a relationship of equals.
And that's very important in a relationship,
yes.
When she wants to be treated equally, and that's where we actually get confused between equity and equality when we talk about these equal matters. What do you think that how male readers would perceive your writing?
Male readers, well, I think I think I have more female readers, but a few male readers. There's one male reader sitting right there. I don't know if he wants to comment, but he's criticized. He came over and he was my first critic. ये ठीक है, ये नहीं ठीक है, one dimensional है ये. Uncle Askar, I don't know if you want to say anything, but.
Sir, हम चाहेंगे आप कुछ बोलिएगा इनके writing journey के बारे में.
Aisha did give me The book is a complimentary copy, which I gave her comments on directly to her. It's interesting to read the book and see for yourself what you think, rather than my giving comments on it. So I think I'll leave it at that.
Well, I'll give you one comment that I got from my son's friend. My son is 28. And his friend came up to me and said, you know, Auntie, I read your novel and it made me understand my mother. And I also felt that, do women think like this also? So that's a young boy saying this to me, and I thought that was, I was really happy to hear that. And yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of awareness now with the younger generation, now the alpha generation that we are raising. I think there's a lot of awareness now about these things, that women can think like that, women can have desires which in the past have never been expressed openly or in a way that we want now. But I think when we meet an author, when we see the writer, the young audience is also here. I think everybody wants to know that what the creative process is like, how you come, what challenges you face. Now coming towards when you were thinking about publishing this book, what about the cover design? Did you design it yourself? Is it the original cover that we have?
Yes, original cover.
How did you come up with this cover?
Well, I mean, so my publisher's wife is an artist and she designed the cover for me. The only thing I told her was that I would like a silhouette. I did not want a face or anything. If you also notice in the novel, I haven't given any location. A lot of people feel कि ये लाहौर है या ये इस्लामाबाद है, but मैंने कोई location mention ही नहीं की थी because I want it to be.
And what was that? The purpose?
Just universal, and the cover needed to be just a woman's silhouette. It could be just anyone. So my publisher Musharraf Ali Farooqi, his wife sort of got this, and then she added the greenery, and she had it's very moody if you see the cover. That sort of hints at the dreams that she has. So there's lots of dreams and nightmares and nighttime and her being in the forest.
Yes, about that dreams. You give a very detailed. There's a detailed discussion about the dreams that the character has. What was the purpose behind introducing the dreams in the? So they're very dark with very scary images.
Yes. So there's a lot of emphasis on mental health, if you've noticed. Apart from there are lots of themes, women empowerment and all, but mental health for both men and women, that's a theme that is again very close to my heart, and also women's inheritance, and I've spoken about a lot of issues actually. So the dreams come from the psychological, the suppression of your emotions. So when you're unable to express, you don't have the vocabulary also to express because you don't know. And so it has the power to disturb you in when you're most vulnerable, when you let go. So it's at night when you let go. And nighttime is usually it's a dreadful time for the lonely and distressed.
Yes, lonely. Because when we as a critic, when we read the novels, because we have been the researchers in the field of cultural and critical theories, one of the drawbacks that I face when I'm reading any literary text is that I do not enjoy that in that sense that when you would enjoy that literary piece with you, because you're constantly thinking about the dialogues and the settings and the characters in a very critical way, and you're noting those points. So I think the novel is not only for the literary people, but also for people who would like to engage in discussions that involve the sociological or anthropological aspects of life, I think, because we have mental health illness is discussed, feminine urge to do things, a female's responsibility and how she oscillates between the inward and outward struggles, and how the fear of judgment, how people give opinion, and how people, if nothing else, they assassinate your character. So all these things are there in this novel. It's a very simple, quick read. I think anybody, if you pick up this book, you will finish in one reading. It's a very simple language, like a day-to-day conversation. And I think the novels like this, it's not that the subject of the female voices or women rights is redundant. I think as long as women exist, so we'll keep writing, we'll keep projecting, we'll keep thinking about these things. And I would like to end the session with one of the quotes that I liked in one of the discussions I was listening about. And in fact, it's a review that the book was reviewed in one of the articles. Aisha Hussein's book gives a voice to the frustrations and anxieties of countless women that exist in our society. It wouldn't be wrong to say that the in-depth portrayal of the protagonist's struggles and woes gives every woman reading the book something to relate to. And I think this book is a cathartic release. So I would welcome everyone to please go and see the book and buy the book. And since we have the author with us, you can have a signed copy. Okay, we have a question before we sign off.
It occurred to me perhaps I should clarify on my comment.
Yeah.
The point I want to make is literature is best read directly, not read through other people's eyes.
Yes.
So I would say first read it, then one can see other people's comments. If you get other people's comments, you're biased.
Oh yes, definitely.
That's
Thank you for this advice. Okay, yes, we have one more question or a comment.
There's a lady there.
Okay, so I have to admit I haven't read the book. I'm intrigued. And my question is, it seems like, it focuses on present predicaments and experiences. And what about the future? 10 years from now, 20 years from now? Aisha, would be great to know your thoughts. Where do you think we're headed? Where do you think Pakistani society is headed in terms of gender issues and space and sort of emotional well-being? So just your thoughts.
Well, I mean, there is greater awareness now than there ever has been on mental, health and emotional, well-being. So, I mean, I've taught pretty much all my life, and I've dealt with, young women and now young men. I teach at LUMS, and I've been teaching at a school. I taught literature all my life, and now I'm teaching a course in education. So, I mean, coming to, I look at the youth today and I feel that while they have they have a lot of issues, depression much more than we've ever seen. And, for example, I was teaching a course and 2 of my students wanted, some kind of, they were not able to attend the sessions because one of them said that my friend tried to commit suicide and I went to the hospital. And the other one also commented on some issue that he was going through. So I feel there's a lot of depression, there's a lot of darkness, there's a lot of hopelessness also in some ways. But at the same time, there is this greater awareness. And when I was younger, there was no such thing as going to a therapist. And if you ever went to a therapist, you were nuts, you were crazy. I went to a therapist at the age of 39, which was 11 years ago. And I remember my mother saying, "Kya zarurat hai? Why don't you just read the namaz, or why don't you just, koi tasbih pad lo? What's the problem?" So, and I feel now parents are a lot more, open to discussing this with their children, having these conversations. And I mean, I do feel there's a lot of depression in the society, which is leading to this hopelessness. Not every child can leave the country and go abroad. So, I don't know I have no solution for you, so I've just given you more problems.
Assalamu alaikum, Yasirullah here. In fact, I myself, I'm a lecturer, right? I had done my BS thesis on one of the Zaid Nisa Hamidullah's short story, The Young Wife. I feel like she was talking about the same rights that you were talking about, the women rights, back in 1958. Following sir's question, what exactly is the solution with you and all the writers, with all the writers? What exactly should we do specifically in Pakistani society? And more specifically, I belong to KFI, right? Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, the FATA regions. I always tell to my teachers that I did not read feminism. It was that I observed my family members, I observed the girls over there, they were being suppressed. But even today in 2025 almost, we're entering 2025, again, the problems with the women, the suppression of women, when that was happening back in 1958, are still happening. What exactly is the solution? That's my question.
I think greater awareness, education, and mothers raising their boys better than they did earlier. And my mother is also from Peshawar, and she went to the Peshawar University, I think, wo jo wahan badi si hai. And she studied in a co environment, and she says now that wo Peshawar, I can't recognize it anymore, and things were so different back then, and and open and all of that. But so our previous generation saw that freedom, and then there was no freedom, and now we're kind of in between somewhere. But I think it's education, awareness, and mothers raising sons differently.
If I would comment, Dera Mehrbani for that question. But the point is that, because since you are a student of literature also, but since very early when we started studying literature, we were just taught this, that literature does not give you solutions. It always gives you probabilities, right? So you will never have a straight answer when you're reading literary works, but you will always have probabilities. Let's do this. And that's what I started my discussion with, that people would think that in 1950s or in the past these things have been discussed, but the topic is still not redundant, because as long as women exist, we'll keep discussing it. And you need to bring women in the public discourses. You need to make them feel invited and welcome, and perhaps that's how the society will start understanding them. I think the time is up. So the author is with us.
I guess this is working or not. I am the brother of all. In my whole family, I have just a sister. When we talk about the empowerment of women, that is what I wanted. I wanted to hear this answer from you. We are talking about empowerment of women. I am a brother who stood up against my whole family, right? She is now married, alhamdulillah. She was the one who would come all the way from KPK to Islamabad, Namal University. And she is the first only woman in the whole family, going back to our generations, that she has done the MPhil and literature. So this was what I wanted to hear from you, that we need to work more for the equality rather than recognizing the problems. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We need more boys like you so that society can change. So we have the author with us. We will be finishing the session because the time's up. So you can meet the author afterwards. So thank you very much for joining us, and I would just encourage you to just go and buy the book, because it's a very easy read. You can finish that in one day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Please encourage women writers. Thank you.